Hey, this is a video discussing the ESP8266 and how I'm talking to it from my computer. So I've got a USB cord coming from the USB port of my computer down here, and it's going to the FT232 USB to serial adapter. This allows me to talk to the ESP chip right here through serial communication. The switch you see is a selector switch for uploading firmware. In order to upload firmware, you have to pull GPIO 0 low, and that's what this switch is for. When I'm uploading my firmware, I'll set it to this position. When I'm not, I'll set it to this position. What I'm using to upload firmware is Eclipse with the CDT seed development tool installed. As you can see, this is Eclipse. I followed a tutorial online in order to set up Eclipse to be your development environment to work with the ESP8266. I'll link the URL in the description, but it walks you through everything that you need to do in order to get this to work. This is the easiest way to write actual firmware. Now, there's other things out there that you can upload using dedicated firmware upload tools, such as Lua, L-U-A, that's an interpreter, and Node MCU. Those are both pretty popular, but again, they don't actually program the microcontroller that's built into the ESP8266. Those just run on top of it. So if you actually want to write firmware and be able to control the registers and a lot of low-level stuff, you need to use this. This is the only thing that I've found so far, and I'm sure there's other things out there, and maybe I just didn't see it right away, but this is by far the easiest. I've spent many hours trying to set up the tools on Linux, but it never quite worked out. There was always some error that would come up, and then that would send me on a wild goose chase to find that error of the Linux, command line. But this works on the same SDK that you would install if you were doing this on Linux, and that's the ESP8266 SDK that Espressif has released, which is right here. You can see a directory, Espressif, and it has an SDK in there. It uses the Extensa LX106 toolchain, which is the type of processor that they have in the ESP8266. It's a Tensilica Extensa LX106 processor. It's a 32-bit RISC. Right now, I have a Hello World loaded up. It's written in C, and it's a little cryptic. There's not much information that I've found so far on what each of these things do. They're pretty self-explanatory, but still, if you want to actually go in there and change something, you're going to need to know what these functions do and what type of arguments you need to pass to it. So that's kind of where I'm at right now, is finding or decoding more what each of these functions do, what header files are associated with them, and how to really just program this thing using C, writing your own firmware. Again, this is not using the Lua interpreter or the Node MCU that is really popular. So yeah, I just wanted to make a quick video about this, and if you have any questions, just let me know. Leave them in the comments section, and I'll be happy to answer them or try to answer them. I'm no expert by any means, but I feel like I've tinkered with this long enough to have a good grasp on what is going on and what you need to install or configure to get it set up and running. This is on a Windows 7. I don't know if it'll work on Linux using the Eclipse. It might, but this is just my experience and what has worked for me. Alright, thanks, bye.